Hi, it's me, Curtis, and welcome to the show. Today, I'm opening in my neighborhood. I'm at a friend's house, Karolina Tomaszewski. She's an incredible gardener, cook, and friend. And she's allowed me to show part of her garden today and the water features, the step on time, which if you haven't seen them, I'll show you a clip of that. I'm going to move to the tabletop here and talk about tomatoes a little later, but I just wanted to share this beautiful garden with you. You know, it's a small amount of space. However, she grows a gorgeous amount of food. I got a clip of her tomatoes and vegetable garden coming up soon. So I'm going to wander around this beautiful garden before going back to the kitchen and sharing tomato magic. Peace, as always, spread love. All right, so it's getting late in the season. She's had quite a harvest this year. See, it doesn't take a whole lot of space to produce quite a bit of food. Karolina Tomaszewska. She's a gardener, she's a friend, she's a pretty dang good cook too. However, I can't convince her to come on camera with me. She's a bit shy, she says. We'll work on that, right? Today, we're gonna have a show, Fun with Tomatoes. Remember the Big Bang Theory, Sheldon Cooper, his show, Fun with Flags? Well, I'm taking a take on that with Fun with Tomatoes. I've got 4 beautiful tomatoes here. This one is the early girl. That's the one you see a lot of times. The first tomato that pops up in the spring and is ready to go. Gorgeous, nice tasting tomato. This one is an orange Wellington. Now, think beef Wellington except with tomatoes. No, I'm kidding. Great tomato. Remember the yellow tomatoes, they have less acid, so they're easier on your stomach. Makes great tomato sandwiches too. Now this tomato is absolutely gorgeous. It's a German heirloom. So I don't know the exact name or variety of this, but it's got the yellow as well as some red blush. I made a tomato sandwich with one of these earlier this week. Oh, Lisa went crazy. Now here's the tomato from Karolina. This is a Polish tomato, and I hope I pronounced this correct. It's a Pomodoro Caracas. Those of you of Polish descent, if I'm saying that wrong, help a brother out, okay? It's spelled K-R-A-K-U-S, okay? So, let's harvest some tomatoes, or take pictures of me pretending to harvest because Karolina picked all the tomatoes this morning. Peace, spread love, let's go cook. So now this is the fairy tale eggplant. Now try not to cast too big of a shadow. I think I've shown you the larger fairy tale. This is where it really gets its name. It's almost like a little Disney fairy tale character, huh? Very small, beautiful little eggplant. Can't wait to get inside to work with these. I'm gonna need let's get the largest ones we possibly can. Oops. Remember, remember that nightshade family, they're little thorns on the outer side of the eggplant. So be careful with those when you're harvesting one. I want to share with you a eggplant tapenade now, and I'm using the fairy tale eggplant that you saw me harvest outside. Aren't those gorgeous little bitty guys there? That's like a true egg plant. Get it? Boom, boom. This is a recipe now. I say recipe. This is my rendition of a dish that I used to enjoy at Michelangelo's. That's a restaurant back in Conyers, Georgia. At D'Angelo's down in Mill Valley. Now, I've got tomatoes, a sweet onion, and those beautiful fairy tale eggplant. I'm gonna use some kosher salt and olive oil. That's it. Now I may sneak a few other things in there if I don't get the taste that I want. We're gonna start by dicing our onions, and I'm gonna caramelize those. We're gonna add our eggplant, cook those a bit, then we'll add the tomatoes and just let it cook down to it's a nice little, almost like a compote. It's gonna be beautiful. Let's get to work. I've gone ahead and sliced the onion in half, and we're just going to use about half of it for this recipe, or this dish. Remember, we're creating the recipe together here because it is a rendition of a dish from D'Angelo's in Mill Valley. I'm not even sure if they're still down there. The chef and I used to be really good friends, and I wonder where he's at nowadays. So I'm not going to one. The Wellington Orange. That has a little sun blister on it, so I'm going to cut that out right there. See how it looks like. Yeah, we'll pass on that now. We'll just take the core out. Reach back and get a paring knife. That's so much easier with a paring knife, Curtis George. Remove the core. Cut that up. Last container for our tomatoes. Isn't that a gorgeous tomato right there? Beautiful. That flesh. These make wonderful tomato sandwiches. I've got a picture of a tomato sandwich that Katrina made, and I might just make one myself. Now that's so I'm going to use all of that tomato. I'm not going to even core that one. These are those early girls. It's kind of the first one that shows up on the market each year in the springtime, late spring, early summer. They're not as large as the tomatoes you get later on in the year. They do have nice flavor. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? That red color almost matches the color of our cutting board. All right, again, I'm just cutting this in like eighths. And if I need to add more tomatoes, I can do that. I also may add, as we're cooking this dish and I start to taste it, I've got some of those San Marzano, you know, those Italian plum tomatoes. We'll add some of that. We can add the tomato paste to that too to give it a deeper tomato flavor. And that's how you really core it if you want to with a little paring knife. Just do a little circle cut there, pop that out. All right, everything is prepped and ready. So let's go to the stovetop and do some cooking. Here we are at stovetop. I'm allowing that oil to heat up and it's starting to really do its thing. Let's add our onions here. I've got my onions, my eggplant tomato there, kosher salt off to the left. There's about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in that little small sauce pot, that little saucepan there, because I'm using a small vessel because I'm not going to make a big batch, you know. This is going to be plenty for Lisa and me for maybe 2 or 3 days. I'm going to let this cook long enough for those onions to start to caramelize, past translucent until we start to see some brown coming out of them, okay? And this dish, I'm going to use more olive oil. That's 2 tablespoons. But don't worry, remember, olive oil is a non-saturated fat. It's a vegetable fat. It flows through the body. It helps, it's a heart healthy oil. And it tastes good. All right, just let those cook. Take your time. Don't worry, you're not going to burn them. We're going to come back in a minute or two after they've cooked a little longer, and so you'll see what I'm talking about, that caramelization come out. In fact, I may chop up more onions and add to that, okay? All right, back in a flash. Let's let our onions do their thing. They're looking nice. I'm going to add a few more onions, about another 1/4 of an onion to that. Remember, we started out with half an onion, so I took the other half and cut that in half to get a 1/4, okay? I'll let that cook just a bit longer. Why did I add that? Well, I just didn't feel like I had enough volume in onions there for the ratio of eggplant and tomato, okay? And as this cooks, I am thinking about some herbs to add. I don't want to add basil because I don't want that to be the thing to overpower. I don't want this to taste like almost like a tomato paste at all. I want it to taste. I want the eggplant and tomato, the sweetness to come out. So I may add some marjoram, and who knows? I might drizzle a little bit of like one of those really reduced balsamic or balsamic glaze in there, to really add more sugar or more sweetness to it without adding sugar. That's kind of funny, huh? Now you see that, how that's starting to brown up. Beautiful, bonito. Olive oil and onions cooking. I'm telling you, it smells like heaven. How's it smell, Lisa?
Wonderful.
Oh yeah, that's my baby. All right, now you're starting to see a little brownness around the edge. Give it like 2 or 3 more minutes before we add our eggplant. Oh yeah, that's looking good. That's looking really, 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 really. We're gonna have a really good shoot tonight. Look at that. Caramelization. Every fruit, every vegetable, as my friend Joe Carcioni would say, has natural sugar in it. That's that carbohydrate that turns to sugar in your body. Sugar creates energy in your body. If we don't get enough, we get weak and tired. If we get too much energy, too much sugar, we get weak and tired. Those of you with diabetes know what I'm talking about. Now we're going to add that eggplant there. I'm going to add a little more olive oil because the olive oil adds so much to this dish. I'm really getting excited about this. I want to allow this to really cook down. I'm going to let this cook maybe 3-4 minutes. Who knows? Maybe up to 10 minutes. Just to let that eggplant get nice and soft. What I'm going to do is add a little bit of salt here, a little of that kosher salt, okay? And we are truly having fun with tomatoes today. That's about what? A little over 1/8 of a teaspoon. A little more salt there. Remember, salt helps to bring the moisture out of things. Like, back in the day they did salt cured beef, or if you're making jerky or thing, the salt brings that moisture out. So we're going to bring the moisture out in the pot. Now I'm going to retain the moisture by adding the lid to it, okay? It's one of those tricks. I remember giving this trick back in the 1980s on some of my first television appearances, talking about how to cook food with less oil, although we're using quite a bit of olive oil for this because of the flavor. But one of the tricks, we're using non-stick pans, like these ceramic pans we're using, non-stick. They require less oil, so you keep all that moisture in by putting the lid on top. Okay, let's let this cook for a few minutes. It is 5:25 on my watch, 5:26 on my watch, 5:25 on my clock, and we'll give it about 4 minutes. I've got a Zoom call at 6, so I gotta get this baby going. Am I having too much fun, Lisa, in the kitchen today?
Love it.
You do? Well, I love you. I'm having so much fun with this recipe. Again, I'm just really playing with tomatoes. Fun with tomatoes. Remember Dr. Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang? Fun with flags. Well, this is fun with tomatoes with Chef Curtis Aikens. I just couldn't resist taking a peek at these. Oh, look how they're starting to brown up. Oh, look at that. A little sticky in the bottom. Ooh, y'all gonna love this here dish. Whoa! Okay, lid back on. I'm going to reduce the heat ever so slightly. Now, what I'm going to do while this is cooking is I'm going to walk out to my chef's herb garden and see what I can find to put in this dish that might add some more little boom shakalaka. All right, back in a flash. Oh, things are cooking along nicely. I went out to my garden, my herb garden, and I found some chives. I've got some tarragon, and also some what did I say? Chive, tarragon, and that's it, right? Oh, look at the eggplant there. It's gorgeous. So I'm going to wash these and just break them into the saucepan. We are ready to add our tomatoes. Oh yeah, look at that. I want to taste this. I want to taste this so bad. Now, I'm going to set my herbs to the side. We'll just add our tomatoes right here. Yeah, that's been about 4.5-5 minutes. We're just going to let this cook down. I'm going to add another tablespoon of olive oil. I don't think I'm going to need to add any water. Instead of adding water, if I feel like it's too thick, I'm going to squeeze fresh tomato juice in there, okay? Again, we are playing in the kitchen today. Playing fun with tomatoes. Or do you say tomato? Olive oil there. Sometimes I love cooking in little small pans. Now, little sauce pots. This is the pot that I make Lisa's grits in. Because when I want to make her one serving of grits, you know us Southerners, we like our grits. And no, I'm not talking about hominy grits. I'm talking about grits like we had down home when we were little kids. Mama made. Your mama made grits, right, baby?
Absolutely.
For sure. For sure. Okay, lid goes on. We're going to reduce. I'm going to go get those herbs washed up. And we'll come back and we'll sprinkle those in. And we may not taste it until after my Zoom call because I'm going to let this cook really slow. Low and slow. Peace. You know what's next? Spread that what? Love like butter. Well, let's sneak a peek here. I think I lowered it too. I took it too low. Let's raise it just a bit. I want to see a little bubbling in there. Now I've taken those herbs and just kind of chopped them up. That's a mixture again of tarragon, thyme, and chives. Chives was just a member of that onion family, so let's add those right now. Again, we're not going to taste it a while. I'm not going to taste it for a while, I should say. We'll let this cook another 25, 30 minutes while I'm, well, maybe I'm going to let it cook for about an hour. It's coming. I want these tomatoes to cook down. I'm almost go away. Well, we're back. My Zoom call went well. Let's take a quick look at our tapenade. Oh my goodness, that's gorgeous. I'm going to take the lid off and just allow it to reduce while we work on our next little dish, the day of fun with tomatoes. That looks so good. Did you try it yet, honey?
Fabulous.
Yay! She likes it. That means it's good, y'all. Okay, we'll come right back and start talking about our next little dish we're going to prepare. 3, 2, 1. Today the show is about tomatoes. However, I have an exciting guest star. This is ground Wagyu beef, American Wagyu beef. A couple of days ago, I'm watching this movie called The Gentleman with, I'm trying to think if there's a lot of stars in the movie. What's the dude, Show Me the Money, not Show Me the Money, what's his name from Texas? The won the Academy Award? Matthew McConaughey was a star along with Hugh Grant. Is it Hugh Grant from London? Yeah, Hugh Grant, a couple other folks. Anyway, so Hugh Grant's doing this scene with the guy and he's talking about the Wagyu beef steak and how great it was. So I got to tell you, I got hooked. So I go down the rabbit hole of trying to find Wagyu beef. And no one had it in Novato except for Whole Foods. So I went over and bought 3 pounds of it, cooked it, loved it, froze it. So I had to find Wagyu beef that was thawed. And I found this at Safeway in the city today. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to cook some of the Wagyu beef. However, that's not the big star. It's what's left over from the pan after cooking the Wagyu beef. What we're going to do with the tomatoes. So do I have you intrigued yet? Lisa, are you intrigued? She goes, All right, y'all. Let's go to the stovetop and play with the Wagyu. Welcome back. Here's the Wagyu. And I don't want you to get caught up on the Wagyu today because it's really not the star of this show. It's all about the tomatoes today. What I'm going to do is cook this Wagyu to get to the essence. I want the juices of it. Now, I'm going to cook some pasta here for 2 reasons. I will serve some of the tapenade with the pasta. I've got just a little bit of pasta, and then what we're gonna make with the tomatoes will be on as well. So I've got in that pot just water, olive oil, and a little bit of salt, which I will add now, a little kosher salt. I'm gonna let that cook while we're preparing our Wagyu. And again, I've got my safety gloves on because this meat is quite fatty. I'm gonna make my balls, my meat balls, my burger patties. Okay, and I'm going to show you a new little tool that showed up today in the mail that I purchased. I don't know if, I do like burgers, okay? And when I cooked this Wagyu the other day, let me tell y'all, I did just a kind of a Wagyu salad. Lisa wants to cut down on some of the carbs, and I'm like, baby, whatever you want, I'm going to try to give you. So I'm going to take this glove off to turn our burner on. And we're gonna let the pan get hot, okay? Again, I season the beef with Worcestershire, some of my seasoning. I've got, I'm trying to think of what's all in there. A little bit of seasoned salt. I've got garlic powder, garlic, ground garlic, all the spices in my cabinets in these little patties, right? And the Worcestershire, the W sauce, as Jesse Sapula would say. Gonna let that pan get nice and hot. Gonna check on our tapenade. I'm just allowing that to reduce. Just cook some of the moisture out of it. And again, tomorrow, this will be even better. Once it's been in the fridge, we can heat it up just before serving it again. And the pan should be warming up nicely. Place one of the patties there. Those nice little meatballs. We could make meatballs with that. And then the other patty here. Gonna allow this to get nice and hot. Here's my new little friend. I can smash my burger. I'm not gonna use the name of that burger joint where they smash their burgers. However, it is a good tool to flatten. All right, so I can remove this glove as well. Gonna let those start to sizzle. And just when they start to cook, we'll come back and we'll smash them. The pasta's looking good, the tapenade's looking good. Let everything just cook. All right, the burgers are starting to sizzle. We're gonna give them 2 or 3 minutes. See all that juice that's coming out of there? That's what we're looking for. Back in a sec. Burgers are coming along. Let's roll them. Gonna roll it over. Yeah, baby. Now, where's my little smasher? I don't want to, I want you to be able to see the action. Now I rolled it over so that we can just press. Look at that. Whoops. There we go. You can just flatten it out. The Wagyu beef. I'm moving it towards the end of the pan there. And we're going to flatten out the other one. So the Wagyu is going to be Lisa's dinner tonight. Honey, you want another Wagyu burger?
Yeah.
I just love saying Wagyu. Let that cook. Well, let's flip our Wagyu. Woo, look at that burger, y'all. Burger heaven, burger heaven. Just cook just a bit longer. And what I want, all that drippings there, what we're gonna do next is let's prep some tomatoes. How about a nice slice of that beautiful German heirloom right there in that drippings. Now this reminds me of when I was a kid and Mom and all the moms in the neighborhood had that can for the bacon renderings. And it was not good for us, remember? You don't want to eat too much of that bacon. However, it sure did taste good. And this right here is all about taste tonight, y'all. I know every dietitian and nutritionist I know across the country going, Curtis, what are you doing? Tonight, it's about the tomato and tomato magic and making fun in the pan, y'all. I will be at yoga at 6:30 in the morning to work these off. So remember, I want to cook them in this beautiful, that seasoned oil, that Wagyu drippings. And we're just making sauteed beautiful tomatoes. Can you see the color there? Wow. Today's show is Fun with Tomatoes with your host, Chef Curtis. Curtis George. The pasta should be coming along nicely. Now, I went out to my chef's garden and I have been soaking some fresh herbs. What I'm going to do is just add them right to the pan. The bay leaf, not bay leaf, that is a basil. That's basil, that's just sweet basil. I'm going to add some opal basil. All that's from my garden outside. I'm going to tear that. Isn't that nice? Woo! I'll let these cook just a little longer. We're going to come back and everything is smelling good. I've turned the pasta off. I'm going to, what I'm doing here, and again, we are playing in the kitchen. This is what I used to do back in the day when I was still writing cookbooks. I would just get ingredients and just start having fun. So I added the basil and the different herbs to that remnants in there to add flavor. Now I'm going to add basil leaves to the top of each one of the slices of tomato. Excuse me. And we're going to top them with some Parmesan, the Reggiano Parmigiano. Okay, it's almost like making a tomato Parmesan, huh? Isn't that beautiful? All right, now we're going to come back and serve this up. Let's give this a chance to just the cheese to kind of settle in those hot tomatoes and melt a bit. I'm going to make some toast to serve the tapenade. We'll taste up the pasta with the tomatoes. Peace. Well, everything is ready. There's the tapenade. I've got the toast points there. And here is that beautiful, I'm not sure what to call that, the sauteed tomato Parmigiano with I've got the opal basil as well as the sweet basil. And I've served it with some pasta there. I also put some of the tapenade on top. And for those of you saying, well, he's not going to try that Wagyu beef. Well, yeah, I put a little piece there. Very little piece. That time for put it in your mouth to see how it tastes. Well, let's start with the toast points and see how that turned out with that tapenade. I just took some nice artisanal bread and toasted it. I didn't add anything to it. You could, put butter on it, or you could add, you see that? Still nice and hot. I'll be editing this tomorrow morning. So I'm going to take another shot of the tapenade after it has been in the fridge overnight and let you see what it looks like then. Because it's going to thicken up that natural. Wow. I've got to stop saying wow. That's because I'm not surprised it's good. I know it's going to taste good. So why do you go wow, Curtis? Very good stuff. Let's try that pasta with that sauteed tomato. I think I'm going to try the sauteed tomato first. I just love that with the Parmesan cheese, and I added some the basil, and we put a little of that tapenade on there. Oh wow! There I go again. Oh wow! For those of you beef lovers, we'll take a bite of that Wagu.